how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. We're going to do a weekly recap video here for you. If you could, while I got you here, let's pay some bills. If you could, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm getting really close to 1,000, and I would really like to stop getting pimped out by YouTube for free. So if you could hit that subscribe button for me, I would appreciate it. Share it with anybody you think could use this information. And at the end, if you like the video, if you hang with it, be sure to hit the like button at the end. Thank you. So I did 3 loads this week, 3,150 miles I put in on this week. I did a Minnesota to North Carolina to eastern Pennsylvania, then deadheaded from Pennsylvania all the way to Chicago. Picked up a load out of Chicago that was 2 picks in Chicago, 2 deliveries, 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Minnesota. We're currently working the first one right now. They're unloading. Well, it's already unloaded, but they're sorting it and counting it, I would assume, right now is what's going on. So I figured while I was sitting here waiting, I'd just go ahead and shoot a quick little recap video for you here and go over some numbers. One thing I do want to talk about real quick is I've seen it a couple times this week, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I always play the rule of the guy in a truck or the person in a truck in reverse has the right of way. Multiple times this week I've seen someone trying to back into a spot and somebody try to squeeze behind them and almost get hit. You know, if you're in that big of a hurry, you're probably in the wrong job, because you're probably going to have a stress heart attack if you're in that big of a rush driving a truck. So calm down. Don't try to squeeze behind people. It's just not worth it, you know. I look at it like this. It's like walking behind a horse. You can walk behind a horse, but don't be surprised if he don't know you're there and he kicks the living shit out of you. Don't cry about it. So if you try to squeeze behind a truck and he don't know you're there and he hits you, don't cry about it. But with that being said, also, if you plan on putting your truck in reverse and backing up, put the flashers on. That was one of the instances. I don't think the guy knew the other guy was trying to back up because he didn't have his flashers on. And then, you know, the guy went behind him. Guy backing up almost hits him. You know, to me, they're kind of both in the wrong, you know. And as we know, 2 wrongs make a left or something like that. There's no saying. Anyway, let's get on to the numbers of the week. 3,150 miles for a total of $6,900 of total revenue. Boy, I thought this week was going to be a just amazing week at the beginning, because the first load I did was like, you know, not pretty well into the $2 a mile range. The second load I did, that shorter load from North Carolina to Pennsylvania, 450 miles, that one was $3.33 a mile. Of course, it was going into the deadest zone, and I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking with that one. I paid the price for it. Don't get me wrong. I paid the price. Deadheaded all the way over to Chicago. Did 2 picks in Chicago. And doing 2 deliveries on that one. So the load from Minnesota was 3,400. The load to Pennsylvania was 1,500, and the load, the 2 pick, 2 drop from Chicago to Minnesota is $2,000. Before deadhead, that load was almost $4 a mile. I was just in the wrong spot to get it, but I still made more money. I talked about that in my last video. I still made more money doing that, running the Chicago deadhead, than I would have pulling a load from Pennsylvania to Minnesota. So just a little food for thought for you owner-operators out there. You know, sometimes you got to let Pennsylvania keep their $1 a mile freight and not worry about it. So anyway, that made $6,900 total revenue for the week. That put me in at $6,900 to the carrier, $5,520 to the truck. So pretty good revenue week. I thought it was going to be way better, you know, like that third, just say I made, you know, $2 a mile coming back from Pennsylvania. You know, I'd be more like $7,500 for the week. And you know, $7,000 is like I consider $7,000 a really good revenue week. I really don't do numbers like a lot of people ask me, do I go by the mile? You know, do I look for loads that have a high mileage pay? Do I try to make a certain amount of revenue per day, per week? I don't do any of that, because all that does is set me up for mental failure. You know, it's like, oh, if I could only make $1,000 a day revenue, well, if I have to drive 700 miles a day to make that $1,000 revenue, then what's the point? And also, what if I don't make $1,000 a day any day of the week? Then I feel like a total failure. So I just don't put myself in a position of failure. I pick loads I make the best decision I can with the information I have at the time, and I go with it. Now, I definitely try to learn from when it's not the right decision. I definitely, you know, try to acknowledge when I did make the right, or what I think is the right decision afterwards. So it's really, you know, I try not to be too hard on myself, because there's too much of it's out of my control. I mean, if you told me, hey, you can make $2 a mile and you can run 500 miles a day and you can make $1,000 of revenue a day every day of the week, I would be aces with that. But the problem is, you're not always going to be on $2 a mile freight. You're not always going to be on, you know, 500 plus mile loads. It's just, to me, if you get in a mindset of I need this, you know, like, you can want that, there's nothing wrong with wanting it, but when you start getting in the mental set of I need it, you got to set yourself up for failure, I do believe. I mean, I used to think like that. Like, I used to say, oh, if I could just stay above $2 a mile. And to me, it was like almost like a mental thing of I would just be looking for $2 a mile. I wouldn't be looking for the best load possible for me at the time. So, just a little food for thought there. So, to the truck revenue, $5,520. We spent $995 on diesel for the truck. I overpaid for diesel one time this week in Illinois. Not bad. I mean, I probably could have saved, I don't know, $20 on a fill up, but to me, that's overpaying. It was just, I thought all the loves in a row were the same price, and there just happened to be one that was like, you know, 5 or 6 cents higher than all the others around it. So, and I chose that one, of course. And I didn't realize it till I left. I was like, I guess diesel's going back up. And then, like, the next 2 loves I passed were cheaper prices, what I was used to paying in that area. So, and also I bought fuel in Illinois twice as far as the truck fuel. So I do get a lot of IFTA credits doing that. You know, 61 cents a gallon is going to IFTA credits. So you know, I paid a lot of IFTA at the pump, put it to you that way. $83 in reefer, $14 on the first load, $18 on the second load, $51 in reefer on this one. This is a -10. And you know how it is with negative loads when you have multiple picks, multiple drops. It always seems like the first place, or anything after the first place and the last place and everything in between, they want you to sit in a dock for 3 or 4 hours with your doors open before they start doing anything. So, you know, your reefer's sitting there trying to keep -10 while, you know, the doors are wide open. I don't know if y'all can hear it back there right now, but, you know, they've unloaded me. They're just sorting it and doing everything. They should call me and tell me, hey, you're unloaded. You can pull out and close your doors because, you know, you have other freight on there. But no, they're going to sit there and they're going to sort it and, you know, count it with me in the door, which to me is annoying. It's a courtesy thing. They should call and say, hey, guy, you can pull out, shut your doors, but whatever. I'm not too picky on that. I am when I get ice cream loads. I will make them aware that I have other freight on there, and it's like, it got down in the 50s here in Wisconsin last night, so it's like 60 degrees and I'm in the shade, so I'm not too worried about it right now. But if it was 80, 90 degrees, yeah, I'd be in there telling them, like, hey, I got to pull out and shut those doors. But anyway, 83 reefer, $47 in def, $44 in tolls. That was $36 on the West Virginia Turnpike. From Pennsylvania back to Chicago, I dipped down and went around the toll roads. So yeah, did that, and saved myself about 200 something bucks. But I spent $36 on the West Virginia Turnpike. I spent $8 on Illinois there, the Bullet or whatever they call it, coming up 39 right there. Paid that $8. $15 in scales this week. I believe that's all I had in scales. I guess so. I guess I just scaled that one load. That's what it looks like. I thought I scaled that first load, but I'm not seeing it. I don't remember scaling that. So I'm going to say $15 in scales for a total variable cost of $1,184. Subtract that from the $5,520 I did in revenue to the truck. Leaves me $4,336 to do what I got to do with for the week. So, again, not a bad week, not a stellar week. You know, it's kind of like it was really close. It was inching into being a really great week. I mean, it was. This little deal at the end, you know, having to do 1,300 miles for a $2,000 load and tie up a couple days on it is the big thing. So it is what it is, and yeah, that's where I'm at for the week, guys. I appreciate everybody watching, tuning in. Do me a favor, don't be driving behind guys that are trying to back in, and when you're trying to back in, put your flashers on. I pulled into a spot late last week that a guy was trying to back into. I didn't know he was trying to back in. He was pulled up alongside the building, you know, and I come around and there was like one parking spot left, and he was pulled up beside the building, no flashers on, no nothing. I thought he just pulled up there, you know, he was like in between the fuel pump and the building. I thought he just pulled up there to run in and use the bathroom or something. I mean, when I came around the side of the building, no flashers, truck just parked there. You know, I didn't even hesitate. I pulled up, bam, I backed right in there. And he gets out and he comes back there and he goes, I was trying to back into that spot. And I was like, well, like, you know, I just told him I'm not a mind reader. Like, you know, if you're going to let people know, number one, if you're going to pull up to back into a straight line spot, don't pull 7 truck lengths ahead just to get straight. Like, figure out how to get that thing straight, you know, before you're a mile away. And number two, put your flashers on if you're planning on backing into a spot, you know. It's common courtesy. Now, there was another spot around the lot. I pulled out and pulled over there. I didn't want to start no beef with a guy. You know, if he has to pull up 7 truck lengths to get his truck straight to back into a hole, you know, obviously I'm not going to make life any harder for him. So I went over there and I parked in a different spot, and he can have that spot. You know, I like being able to sleep at night. You know, I don't want to piss that guy off and then try to go to sleep and him come over there and mess with something, you know. So I just pulled out, you know. By far the easiest thing to do is pull out and go to another spot. But I just told him, I was like, you know, if you plan on backing in somewhere, put your flashers on, you know, while you're still going forward. Let everybody know what's going on. But anyway, it is what it is. Take care of each other out there, guys. I appreciate everybody watching. Until later.